Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of podcast where we dive into everyday topics and chat about what's on our minds. I'm Sophie. Today we're going to dive into a topic that affects us all in one way or another: how people manipulate you. It's something most of us have experienced, whether we've realized it or not, and it's time to uncover the tactics, the psychology, and the subtle ways manipulation can show up in our lives. So, if you've ever felt confused, controlled, or simply unsure about someone's intentions, this episode is for you.
And I'm Jack. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we're talking about something that happens a lot more than we think: manipulation. Yep, we're going there. We're going to break down how people manipulate you, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to protect yourself.
Yeah, manipulation can be super tricky, and it's not always as obvious as you might think. It can happen in any kind of relationship, whether it's with family, friends, or even at work. The crazy thing is, sometimes we don't even realize we're being manipulated until it's too late.
Exactly. It's wild how people can get inside your head without you even knowing. So, we're just going to chat about some of the most common manipulation tactics we see, and maybe help you spot them before they get too deep.
So, first things first, let's talk about what manipulation actually is. Simply put, manipulation is when someone influences or controls your actions, thoughts, or emotions, usually for their own benefit. And often, it's not always clear that it's happening.
Yeah, manipulation isn't just about lying or being sneaky. It can be emotional, it can be subtle, and sometimes you don't even realize it until you start feeling like you're not in control of your own choices. And that's what we're talking about today: how to recognize those moments and not fall into those traps.
All right, one of the big ones we've got to talk about is gaslighting. This is when someone makes you doubt your own reality. For example, let's say you clearly remember something happening, but they keep saying, "That's not how it happened," or "You're just imagining things." It starts to make you question your own memory, and that's what gaslighting does. It messes with your head.
That's the worst. I had a friend who was in a relationship where this happened all the time. Her partner would tell her, "You're overreacting," or "That never happened," and it made her feel crazy. But in reality, she was just trying to bring up something that was bothering her.
Exactly. And the scary thing is, if it keeps happening, you start second-guessing everything. You begin to think, wait, did that happen? Was I too sensitive? It creates this cycle of self-doubt that makes it easier for the manipulator to control your actions and thoughts.
And you end up feeling like you can't trust your own instincts, which is the worst feeling. Another huge manipulation tactic is playing the victim. You know when someone is always saying things like, "I've done so much for you, and this is how you repay me," or "I can't believe I always put you first, and this is what I get in return." That's the victim card.
Yeah, and it's super effective because it makes you feel guilty, right? You start thinking, oh no, I should be doing more for this person. But in reality, they're just trying to get you to feel sorry for them and manipulate your actions.
Exactly. It's like, "I've been so nice to you, so now you owe me." But it's a trick. They're using your empathy to get what they want. And once you feel guilty, they have the upper hand.
Right. And this can happen in any relationship, not just romantic ones. I've seen it in friendships too, where someone is always reminding you of their sacrifices and suddenly you feel like you have to do something for them, even if it's something you don't really want to do.
Yeah, it becomes like a debt you didn't ask for, and they expect you to pay it back.
Okay, let's talk about love bombing. This is where someone showers you with excessive affection, compliments, and attention, usually at the start of a relationship. It feels amazing at first because you're getting all this attention, but here's the kicker: it's not really about love. It's about control.
Oh yeah, love bombing. I mean, who doesn't love feeling like you're the center of someone's world, right? But the problem is, once they've got you hooked, they pull back and start playing emotional games. Suddenly, you're wondering what you did wrong, and then they're in control of your emotions.
Exactly. It's like a roller coaster. They'll give you all the love and attention, but once they know they've got you, they might start to withdraw, and you'll be chasing after their approval. It's a tactic to get you emotionally dependent on them.
And it works so well because you're hooked on that high of being loved and validated. But the trick is, they're not giving it to you freely, they're giving it to you in exchange for something they want. One that I really dislike is the silent treatment. This is when someone just stops talking to you, stops engaging with you, and basically punishes you by withdrawing their affection. It's emotional manipulation at its finest.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make you feel bad for something you may not even know you did wrong. And the longer they stay silent, the more you start questioning yourself. Did I mess up? Why aren't they talking to me?
And the worst part is, you start begging them to talk or asking if everything's okay. In doing so, you're giving them control over your emotions. You're trying to get their approval or affection back, and that's exactly what they want.
Totally. And it's really draining. You're left constantly wondering where you stand, and it can make you feel really isolated. It's a manipulation tactic to make you feel like you have to earn their love or attention. Okay, another tricky one is mirroring. This is when someone mirrors your behavior, interests, and values to build rapport. At first, it feels great because you think, wow, we're so alike, this person really gets me.
But then, once they've won your trust, they start influencing your decisions and actions. It's like they're becoming exactly what you want in a person, so you lower your guard, and then they slowly start to control things.
Exactly. It's a method of gaining your trust by making you think you have a deep connection. And once they've got that, they can start pushing you in directions that serve their needs, not yours.
It's like they're taking the time to study you and then act like your perfect match, which feels amazing. But the manipulation part is when they use that connection to get you to do things for them.
So, with all that in mind, how do we protect ourselves from manipulation? First off, we've got to trust our instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore those gut feelings.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. If someone is crossing the line, speak up. Manipulators will always test your limits, so it's important to stand firm and say no when needed.
Exactly. And the last thing I'll say is, don't be afraid to talk to someone you trust. Sometimes it helps to get an outside perspective, especially if you're feeling confused or conflicted.
Yeah, don't let someone else make you doubt your own judgment. Healthy relationships are based on respect and trust, not control and manipulation.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Chill Talk. We hope this helped you recognize manipulation and gave you some tools to protect yourself.
Thanks for hanging out with us, and if you liked this episode, share it with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with more real talk.